Look me up on Google, search the classics, you crazy bastard. Hold me up and pull me down. It's a battle royale in the eye of the storm. Drowning in the shallows when the path is getting narrow. I'ma ride it out on this broken arrow. Fuck it. Hold me up.
Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Idiots. I hope that all of you are having a wonderful Monday. It is now February 3rd, 2025. It seems like this year is already flying by. How you doing, Wes?
What up, everyone? West, aka Metro, everyone knows. Yeah, man. I mean, when you're constantly having to be like, all right, dude, what's this motherfucker done this hour? What's he
Well,
done?
yeah, like you wake up and you're like, what? Because this dude doesn't sleep. Like he doesn't sleep. So
Well,
we're,
it's just like
we're gonna
I
wake up.
think he just thinks of like how many things can I try to fuck up? I had a good friend that sent me an article that was all about how Hitler destroyed democracy in 53 days in Germany.
Yeah.
53 days. And like we tell you guys, he was elected. Okay. Germany had a democracy just like ours, built on capitalism and like the problems very similar to what we had and what we have currently. And then they had a bunch of people in there that thought, you know, the ones who are causing the problem are the scary Jews, the scary other people who aren't like of this certain, German descendant.
Yeah.
Well, it's exactly what he's doing. He's saying, like, oh, the scary folks are people like my brother Kenny, or if I was more dark skinned and I was from Mexico or Guatemala or Venezuela. But it's, God forbid, it's not the billionaires like Trump.
Yeah.
And we thought we learned because the Great Depression happened after all this nonsense tariff shit. And FDR came in and fixed a lot of these issues. That's why he was elected 4 times, guys.
Well,
Four.
let's not even talk about like we could talk about that, but
Yeah.
I mean, after January 6th, like that should have been the end of this nonsense, but it only gave him more legs. And um, again, I am a little concerned, man. I don't know where the Democrats are at. I don't know where the independents are. They're just kind of letting this go down. I don't know if they're, huddled in offices there in Washington trying to figure out how to tame this beast. But I mean, he is full throttle on his agenda. And let me tell you something, if you question that agenda, he's leaning into it, right? Like
Yeah.
he is there is no veering off the path. I think that there was a couple of, you know, a few countries that he decided not to bring tariffs on today, but it's just like what are we waking up to? What craziness, madness are we waking up to? And again, I think I talked to you a little bit about this, Wes, too, and it was like I feel like when I'm on social media, like I'm going insane because now the MAGA folks, they're like, okay, well, it's okay to have inflation for a little bit. Like, we understand that it's going to take time to come down, and, the tariffs are a good thing, and we might have to pay for that for a little bit, but they're going to come down, right? Because Trump said they're going to come down. And it's just like, what the hell? Like, 3 weeks ago, the inflation and eggs and all of these things were a huge major issue by the past administration, but because Trump is now saying and doing what he's doing, it's okay. So what do you think about that, Wes? Because I'm pounding my head against the wall.
Yeah, man. I mean, I tell people, there's a little word that, man, it's usually right on the tip of all our tongues that starts with the H, and ends with the Y, and in the middle is ocracy, and it's called hypocrisy. And like the reality is, right? They don't believe in the bird flu, right? Or I mean, sorry, they don't believe in COVID, but the bird flu is real because that's causing the cost of eggs. And it's like, yeah, dude, when there's like, flus, viruses, major global like economic shutdowns because of these things, it causes a supply and demand problem. And I don't care if Jesus fucking Christ, Muhammad, all like I don't care who the fuck is in power when you don't have the ability to have workers making X amount of goods that we all need around the world, or a bunch of chickens get sick. Oh, weird. That's like the same as a bunch of humans getting sick. One way or another, that disrupts the supply chain. You disrupt the supply chain, the demand is still there, right? Like, we still need to eat. We still need to take a shit and wipe our butt with toilet paper, whatever that it is. Shirts that need to be bought, right? Like, the market is the market. And so when you take, again, X amount that is needed and Y is the demand, guess what? If that doesn't meet each other, problem. And they just don't want to accept that that's what's causing these problems.
Ah,
They want to say it's like it's all Biden, because Biden was like the guy who was like apparently like jerking off roosters and trying to create more chickens so that he can like get more eggs. But like Trump somehow, his little baby hands, maybe they're not big enough to get a rooster. Like,
I just again, I'll say it.
and we just got demonetized. Just kidding.
I'll say it and I'll say it, right? If you are just gonna follow every policy that Trump puts forth, then just say that, right? Like I oh my God, there's like literally like we can explain it in the simplest terms, right? But like people are still gonna say, but, and it's just like I'm to a point where I'm just like, okay, man, like if he is the almighty and he can do no wrong, then just say that. Like I'll respect you a lot more. But at the end of the day, gas prices, grocery prices have gone up.
Lumber, all
Lumber
of it.
will continue to
It's
go up. And when you start poking the bear, like he kind of has with China, that could create a really, really bad problem for all of us. And
Do you
it's
remember the
okay.
percentages
Well, what I'm
that they
saying is it's okay for you to speak out against one thing that or two things that you don't agree with him. I don't think that they're gonna kick you out of the cult for that. I mean, I could be wrong, but like
No, they will.
no
Dude,
one's
you
really
can't.
fighting that
If you
theory.
criticize him, they'll. That's the problem. This is why it's the cult, because, like, it's at the point now where I've said this on film, and I could care less about like what YouTube, wants us to talk about. Like, I don't give a shit. That dude could start a line from DC to California of like, hey, everyone's gonna get down on their knee and literally start macaque gobbling. We'll just say that on him, and people will do it. There's 30 million people in this country who are full blown cult members.
Yeah.
They like he can't. Whatever he says will go. Oh, we don't want to see foreign people taking these jobs. Oh, H-1B visas. Blah 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 blah. Trump comes out and goes, "Listen, here's the thing. Visas are great. They're great for a business. Blah 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 blah." And they go, "Oh yeah, yeah, visas are great, bro." Like, dude, hello, like they are not good for small business and medium businesses, because those are not the people taking advantage of them. Just like tariffs, it's not going to affect, like, you can't go and make money off of a tariff if you're some like local electrician,
Right.
if you're some local real estate agent, if you sell t-shirts for a living. Like, you're like, if you're just some small or medium business in this country, these tariffs are going to crush you. You know who they're going to help? They're going to help big business. Because me and Kenny have talked about this to you guys. Did you not notice, conveniently, that he only put a 10% tariff on which massive country that we get a lot of shit from? China, China, China. So why do y'all think he only put a 10% tariff on China, but on Canada and Mexico, two of our
Oh, he
like
knows better.
allies, he did
Like
25%?
he absolutely knows better that he can't. I mean, we're never going to win that war because if you start, putting massive tariffs on China, like, you know, I don't even know what percentage of goods that we get from them is, but I
Oh my
can
God, it's a ton.
probably a lot, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, talking
And
about
who, and
10%,
who else gets his goods and his daughter's goods? Where do you think they get their shit
right?
from? All
Exactly.
the all
Right.
the little dumbass MAGA hats they sell you? You might want to check where those are made from.
Yeah. Oh, but
Oh,
but no. But let's not even. It's okay that
Ivanka's purses that she sells, Ivanka's dresses that she sells,
Yeah.
Check where those come from,
Yeah,
y'all.
I think there was a video that I think I can drop in the link to here, of
Did he put?
some guy going into like a MAGA store, and he was like looking at all of
Yeah,
the merchandise,
yeah.
and it all said made in China, and then like he would go talk to the store owner, and the store owner would have no clue that it was all made from China. Like he's like,
And
no, I didn't
and
know.
let's do a quick search on the on your old laptop if you can, Kenny, and pull it up for everybody. And I want you to put in tariffs, U.S. tariffs on Afghanistan, and see what that comes up. Because I already know, because this is the other place that Afghanistan. Where's the other one that I'm trying to remember where his certain he has stuff made from China, and the other one is Afghanistan. And I will bet you anything that he's not doing anything off Afghanistan, because that's another area where they're starting to shift some of their manufacturing is Afghanistan.
So right now, the U.S. has a 7.94% tariff on Afghanistan.
Oh, weird. Why didn't he do 25% on there, 25% on China? Are we not more powerful than fucking Afghanistan? Oh, what, why? Guys, because he's trying to help himself, his daughter, who his daughter gets her shit from.
Wow,
Fucking wake up, dude.
that's actually
Wake
really
the
great.
fuck up.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great, thing to point.
Because he knows just the right amount to put on there, because they'll say, hey, put a 7.9% tariff on all of these items coming from Afghanistan, purses, dresses, blah, blah, blah. Because there's a lot of good material that they're really good at, like making a lot of that stuff, shirts, dresses, purses, blah, 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 right? So they put a you said
Not
7.9,
forget
right?
opium.
Opium, there you go, yeah. You said it was a 7.9%. That's what I thought I saw too. Like 8%, something like that.
Yeah, let's call
So
it 8%.
we'll call it 8%. So, guys, we've explained this before, and we'll explain it again because apparently some of you guys' heads are thicker than a 2x4. If I put an 8% tariff on shirts that are made in Afghanistan, let's pretend this shirt is, I don't know where it's from, I can double check, but then I, as a massive company, let's just say off these shirts, I make currently $1 billion a year. Okay. I make, and let's just say that's my profit, that's my net. Okay, my profit. I put a little 8% tariff on it, and then my son takes over well, I'm president. My son's going to take over this shirt business that I have. Okay, then he's going to blame the 8% tariff, right? Like I could blame the 8% tariff on, you know, oh, well, the manufacturing's not being brought back to America, right? Meanwhile, my billionaire friend, we'll just say my friend, that way it doesn't look too colludey, my billionaire friend would go, yeah, but the cost of bringing it back here would raise that shirt 30%. So what I'm going to do as a billionaire is I'm going to raise that shirt 10%, and I'm going to blame it on the tariffs. So see how everybody is pointing fingers?
Yeah.
Well, because of Trump's going to say, or the president is going to say, I'm putting a tariff of 8%. The billionaire guy's going to go, well, because that 8% tariff, I'm going to make that shirt 10% more money. I just added 2%. So what is 2% of a billion, guys? Holy shit, that's a lot of money, right? So you just added more money to their bottom line. So you tell a multi-billion dollar business, hey guys, we're going to blame it on the tariffs of China, the tariffs of Mexico. You're going to actually get to add 2% more than what the tariff is and blame it on that, thus making me able to sell Jeeps, Hondas, shirts, whatever for way more money, or 2% more money, excuse me, and that's 2% more profit for me. And I'm just the guy in the background, the billionaire going, well, what else? What other options do I have?
Okay, so now that we've done that exercise, and hopefully people that are watching or listening understands what tariffs do to our goods and our pricing.
Yep.
Now, let's flip the script a little bit. I want to know, and I really want to know where the Democrats are at. Like how much is he going to be able to do before they intervene without I think that what their issue is that they're afraid that they're going to be coined as what they did prior, right? When he was first elected, they did the impeachments, they did the Russia case, they did all of these things at the beginning, and I think that they're trying to save face with all some of that bullshit that they did
Yep.
at the beginning of his first presidency. But now, right now, like how long are they gonna lay in the cut and let all of this stuff go on when it is impacting everyday citizens and their constituents' bottom line in their pockets? Like how long do they go until they start fighting about this? I'm curious to know.
Yeah, when you say like the Democrats, what and again, it's the old I'll answer that kind of question with another question, but what Democrats are you referring to? Are you referring to the ones who are also worth hundreds of millions of dollars, or also have some sort of stock portfolio that most of us would fucking dream to have in a sense? Um, those kind of Democrats? Are you referring to those types of people?
No, I'm not referring.
Maybe y'all will see where we're going with this, guys,
I'm not referring to
because
them.
they're one in the fucking same.
Right.
Like they are like elephants holding each other's little tails and not and I'll keep it PG, trunks and tails, and they're walking in line like, okay, what like this is what we're trying to tell y'all, man.
I think that like
These motherfuckers are
they like
wolves, you
are
know?
secretly like liking this. Like there's some people in Washington that are Democrats and independents that are secretly like, "Hey, I love this." Yeah, I mean I mean that doesn't surprise me, right? Like
Yes, 100%. Because again, guys and girls, ladies and gents, how do you think they're again, if I'm invested in Amazon, and I basically just know, and I'm a senator, a very wealthy congressman or woman, right? Congressperson, um, uh, uh, like a governor. I mean, like even our own governor here. Like, dude, I like some of the stuff he's doing, but he did grow up with money. Now, is he worth the kind of money that Trump is? No, but like Matt Gates, somebody like that, who I believe his dad's almost worth $1 billion, something like that. He's extremely wealthy, right? There's a lot of those kind of folks in our Congress, our local state representatives, right? There's a lot of those nepotism kids. And when you guys don't understand that their stock portfolios that have tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of dollars in it, the very top tops. Again, if I told you, hey man, I'm going to increase that stock portfolio by 15-20% by doing this, they don't care because what it does to us, the working class.
yeah,
These fuckers are wolves, dude. That's what they're doing. They're trying to eat.
I get what you're saying. So like
Yeah.
let's just say we have an everyday, middle class American watching, listening to our podcast. What would be your suggestion? Because obviously our government, Democrats, Republicans, independents are corrupt. They have their
They're
portfolio.
all one and the same.
So how do we combat that as citizens?
Yeah, so like the New Deal. That's exactly what we do. This is what we try to tell y'all from the longest time. We'll just keep explaining it to you. The like 40s, 50s, and 60s had again, as far as financial, was the best time financially for the most amount of people in this country, and that's not even debatable whatsoever. The most amount of wealth was in the was spread out in the most amount of hands that we've ever seen. Now, obviously, during that time, folks that were brown and dark brown skin were obviously not being treated properly. They weren't even able to buy homes. They weren't allowed to go to certain school, like some schools at all. And obviously, as that time wore on, 1964, you had your Civil Rights Act. Things started obviously change. It's still not equal. Again, that's a whole nother topic. We know that. But the fix, the solution is to going back to on from a tax perspective. So don't get this twisted with you little mofos that have skin that look like mine. Oh, make America great again. It was never great for everybody at that point in time. There was absolutely two Americas, 100%. I still think we have two Americas, just not as maybe as far of as it used to be.
Right.
But financially, going back to those types of mindsets where we have a progressive tax on your top earners. So once you start, so from 0 to 100,000, your tax rate is 10%, something like that. Help out the smaller people, right? From 100 to 150, that could go to like 15%. And we get to a point where every dollar you make over like about 5 million, that could be taxed at like 80%.
I
Like
love,
from
I,
like 5 million and one and on up to 10 million and yada 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 like that.
so I love you. You're my brother. You know that. You know that.
Yeah.
It's never gonna happen. It's never going to happen
I
because
mean, but we can't think like that. We have to fight it
I
because
know
it did happen
I get
before.
it, and I don't want to be cynical. I don't want to be cynical.
Yeah.
But when you have the richest people in the world at our president's inauguration, it doesn't leave me with much hope.
I know. It's hard to think like that, guys. I get it. Um, but I will say this. Look, I mean, you want to talk about history repeating itself. I mean, look what was going on in the 19 teens, right? In the
Yeah,
early 1900, you had very similar problems. The all the wealth was really um concentrated in like the top five, top, especially the top 1%. We went through some very hard financial times. They just kept squeezing like they're doing now. They just kept being like, "Oh, you guys have a horse. Why are you complaining? Oh my God." It's like, well, yeah, because at one point in time you're wealthy to have a horse. Then it was like everybody had a horse. And then at that point in time, if you had a car back then, you were like, whoa, holy shit,
right.
rich guy.
You're
And the
wrong.
standard of living was changing. And they're trying to tell you, well, because you have a microwave, stop complaining in like 1987. Oh, but like that's what they're still doing to this day because we have a cell phone, because you have a smartwatch. Quit complaining about it. The standard of living back then was changing rapidly like it is now. And we went through the Great Depression because yet again, history is repeating itself. We we as a working class people didn't want to come together. They got everybody divided, everybody believing that that it's your neighbor, all the fingers are going this way and never going up. Okay, eventually went through the Great Depression, worst time in our history. Again, what happened after that? FDR got elected, and FDR came in and said, "Whoa, we need to get the wealth redistributed via wages, via literally taxing the rich, and get that money back down to the working class." And again, this is when people are making 50% the cost of a new home. We are now about to be below 20% on a national average. We're at 21 and change, something like that. Right. So this is exactly what was going on. I mean, look at this, guys, like a global pandemic, the Spanish flu, 1917, 1918, right? We had COVID, 2020, 2019. Actually, sorry. It's like it's almost exactly repeating itself. So if we don't want to go through another Great Depression in the next 7 to 10, I mean, it could take some time, but like if we don't want to get that bad again, we better start realizing that these motherfuckers are werewolves. They're going to eat. We outnumber them 100 million to one, and we are wolves as well. We better become wolves. And
Yeah,
whether this is a big, huge wolf, when you got 100 million small wolves, we will eat the shit out of them. And we
right.
got to tell them to fuck off. Get the
Yeah.
right people elected.
I I uh I have hope. I do. I have hope that, to your point, we have a lot more people than they do.
Yep.
I'm thinking of in stuff like people don't even understand. Like we're starting to see protests again. We're starting to see civil unrest. We're starting to see all of these things that is like a repeat of what we had before in his first tenure, right? Like it is just it saddens me that we are as a nation so divided and so um we've picked our tribes and we've kind of settled in with our tribes, and that's not what we are about. And I think that we've made a ton of progress in our country over the last few decades. But again, it's still surface level, right? There's still
Yep.
issues. There's still people struggling. There's still people that can't get emergency medical care. There's people that go to the doctor when they have to and getting these enormous bills. Like these are the things that, if we stop and talk to one another, you and I and a MAGA person and this person over here that are within the middle class, and actually talk to one another and said, instead of choosing one tribe and actually try to help one another, this could be something major. It
Yeah.
could be huge, the things that you could do. Like these
Yeah.
people want to be reelected. These people want to be in Congress, and we are the
Yeah.
ones that control that. But we're
Yes.
too busy fighting one another and having these dumb arguments over stuff that makes no sense. And you know what? I will say this, Wes. President Biden screwed this up for the Democrats. Now, he should have at the beginning just said, hey, I'm done, right? I'm done. I can't. They hid him. They lied about that. They
Yep.
lied. They didn't tell us exactly what was going on until that disastrous debate. Like, we have to start holding these people accountable. And I
Of
always talk about
course.
the right, and I always talk about the left and MAGA or whatever, but like, let's be the people going
Yep.
against these forces, as you've mentioned, to get
Yep.
this right because we do have the voice and we do have the power. That's what's so
Yep.
great about our country. We have the
Pres-
ability to vote these people out that have
Yes.
been there for
Yes.
decades doing absolutely nothing. You know,
Exactly. Oh, they're doing something. They're doing the exact same thing that makes them and other billionaires and 100 millionaires more money.
how
So
many
you're right,
times,
though.
how
That's
many
you
times
gotta
are
you
you
gotta.
going to look at a person that's been
Yeah,
in
of
Congress campaign on the same thing and not do anything about what he
course,
campaigned on,
because
right?
it's all lip service. It's
It's
all
it's it's unbelievable to me, and I was like so disgusted. I've been disgusted with the Democrats. I think they're
yeah,
trash. I think the conservatives, they're trash. They have no morals.
yeah.
Democrats have no morals. Like it's just like at what point do the people actually stand up and start fighting back for our country? Like
I mean, that's a problem. And like you said, it's like you said, guys and girls, like we have to unelect these people who are worth this kind of money. We have to get laws in place where like our Congress should mirror our society. This many this many percentage of like Caucasian, like light skinned folk, medium, all the way through to dark brown folks, from like working class, da, da, da. The elites should have less than about 2%, if even that, 5% of power in Congress. That's how they should have it, should be 95% working class type of folks. And if that was the case, policies would change. So if you guys are listening, how to fix it, MAGA would look for right, left, MAGA all the way to the most progressives. You better, get the wealthy people out of Congress, the wealthy people out of the president office, all of that shit out of the White House, the executive branch, excuse me, I should say it the proper way. You have to get them out of there from the executive branch to the judicial branch, all the way down to the congressional branch. Like the three parts of our government, we have to get the elites out of there.
right.
Period.
Yeah,
Stop.
I I
Boom.
I agree. And we'll continue to keep talking about
Yeah.
it. We love you guys.
Love you guys, man.
About
Peace.
you. Follow, subscribe, all of those things. Let us know how you're feeling. Again, shout out to my people over at TikTok. I'm still working on the YouTube. I think they're mad at us because of Wes's derogatory comment
Fuck
titles.
them.
But love you guys. Take care.
Peace.
See you
Much
soon.
love.